He looks so angry. He looks so pissed off. I mean, that's always how he looks, to be fair. And we're back. We are almost done. Final day, trial ladder 2. Let's go. We're gonna get Chief Gant arrested for murder. The last person we need to hear from is none other than Miss Lana Sky herself. She was being controlled and manipulated all this time. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gotta fix my hair. I don't know what's going on with my hair. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago, all by myself. Why is she still doing this? What is your problem? Is this all to protect your sister? I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago, all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something else. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Where are we going from here? I think this is all 100% intentional, though. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago, all by myself. I'm gonna press everything. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. Testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... can we present this? No, not yet. No. So, do both of these rules have to be in effect for evidence to be valid? No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. So, we haven't actually used this yet, have we? Well, maybe we did use it once to show that Neil Marshall was a victim, but that's about it. Executive investigators, Damon Gant and Lana Skye. But what if Lana Skye's name is 7777? Because we don't know what her number would be. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago, all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was a justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana! So that's why I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. Broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. But that's not what happened, is it? Because he got stabbed with the spear on the suit of armor. You walked in, you should have seen him on the suit of armor, and then moved his body over here, and then change it to Joe Dark's knife and put it in the victim's body. Broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? That doesn't make any sense. The Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Had no point, but a point was found in the body. Exactly. Something is going on. This is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you plant the knife? But why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in the body would be all the proof we needed. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. I want to see what would happen if we did the other thing. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Pieces of the jar, you mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Oh, what's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there was more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. So where did this jar even come from? Did someone throw the jar? Why was this piece of handle broken off? I still haven't explained this. Hey, look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here. The blood stains on the other pieces are just spots, but this one's a line. That is odd. Trying to piece things together now. But what if it wasn't... What if it wasn't Marshall who wrote Emma's name on there? What if it was Gant who wrote it on there? And then used that as a threat towards Lana so that she could be controlled, because if the truth came out, and was written on the blood and it's very
And there was
interesting.
much rejoicing.
Because what if Gant is the one who wrote Emma's name on there? We don't have any proof, do we? But something isn't quite adding up. Broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted inside the wound, and moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the vents threatened my plan. Okay, let's do this. Maybe we need to present the jar here. How did it ruin your plans? Exactly, how did it ruin your plans? If it was an accident, then he wouldn't have written Emma's name in it. Miss Skye, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction? In my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have yet broken before he died. Weird. Ah! He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. That's a good point, Phoenix. Order, order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may miss something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood. Now we're making some progress here. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. But they weren't fully cleaned off, were they? You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case, but not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to a dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you'd do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all, but you didn't! But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. It's just a normal piece of cloth, right? Someone left behind an oil stain on the fabric. Whoever it was, they must have had a really oily hand. Huh. An oily hand. So what was Emma doing again? That's right, think about it scientifically. Huh? A more likely explanation is the person slipped and fell on a freshly waxed floor. So maybe this was presented later, because this is Emma's prints on it, right? Getting wax all over their hand. Well, that would account for the amount of oil, I guess. I don't see what's so scientific about it, though. It happens, you know. I always slip on floors at school after they're waxed. Huh. Did I not read this before? The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. You didn't get them all. You didn't get them all. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In Chief Gant's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. I was about to say, like, bro, I can't find my phone anywhere. Have you seen it? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant at the time he was looking. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant at the time he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No. Everyone makes the weirdest sounds. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. No! I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana? Maybe right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is the possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. All right, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Actual crime scene. Here we are. We're finally making some progress. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought that she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was fabrication, Emma might be innocent. We're making some progress. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Evidence law. Pio. It's cute. Huh. Yeah, we didn't actually open the book, did we? Hey! Hey, there's a picture here. She always has her camera on her. Sorry. She always has her camera on her, and there's a piece of the coat missing, isn't there? Oh. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Lana's picture inserted into the court record. Crime scene photo taken from the case 2 years ago. Mr. Wright! That piece cut off from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? That's what I was thinking. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are me must be the real murderer. Look, we're not gonna go in that direction. What? But those fingerprints. They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. See, the thing is, right, if Gant was the real murderer 2 years ago, Maybe Bruce Goodman figured that out? So Gant had a reason to kill Bruce Goodman a few days ago. Maybe possibly. Actual crime scene. Hold it! Wait, what's happening? Oh, Gant, you came back. Hi, Gant. How you doing, bro? I didn't have a chance to do anything. Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? I mean, you're sweating. Only guilty people sweat. That's a quote. I'll lie to myself. I don't give a shit. Only guilty people sweat. There we go. We added a new quote, everybody. Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. Oh shit! Oh, this can't be good. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall. Can we take a look at this crime scene photo taken 2 years ago? Let's check it out. So if a piece of cloth is missing from his vest, wouldn't there also be blood on it? There should be blood on it, shouldn't there be? Presented turning pin. So we looked at this cloth, and it mentioned something about, like, must have had a lot of oil on their hands, like they just slipped on the floor, a floor that was freshly cleaned, for example. Did they clean up the crime scene afterwards? How'd they get her handprint on it, though? There should be blood, though, right? And there isn't any blood. I'm gonna say cannot show evidence. See what happens. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence that I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant? You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means the police chief, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Exactly! Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? What's he gonna say? I want to see what would happen if I went the other way. So we're saving after this, but I'm really curious. Let's see what would happen if I chose the other option. What would happen if I did? Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence. All right, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the chief's. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. What would happen if I did this? I'm so scared. But this is why I made a save after picking the other option. I don't know which way is the proper way to go here. It's a piece of leather cloth. Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest, near his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Righto has checked. Haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's. Is Emma Sky's? No! What? They're mine? So I really did do it. See? I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. No. It appears we have our killer. No. No! Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana alone was found guilty on all counts. Yep, that's what happens. I was curious. Alright, now let's do this the proper way. Although I'm curious, if I had saved after I presented the evidence, then what would happen? Would I have to go through the entire game again to get back to this point? Let's go and load up this file. So apparently not presenting the evidence was the right way to go. I just want to see what would happen if I did the other thing. Alright, we did not present the evidence, which also proved that Gant was concealing evidence. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her? I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky? I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to prepare for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for? A fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go in and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Ho, ho, ho! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Wright-ho! Cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit it then, Chief Gant? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright? What do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it before it was too late. I did try that, and then ended up losing. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. I cannot show the evidence. No, it's too late to show the evidence now. Besides, even if I did, it'd just expose that poor girl's fingerprints. Right? Think hard over the circumstances. Circumstances? I'm talking about then and now. There's one major difference between the two. Weren't you waiting for that difference? I just figured out my plan. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, this is your only chance. Your Honor? I do have evidence to present now. Alright then. Let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Extremely thin rubber glove. So wait, so hold on. If it was an extremely thin glove, maybe it was thin enough that you could see someone's prints through it. I wonder. Well, first of all, I want to see if the same thing is going to happen if I present this evidence again. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. At last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean, It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho, ho, ho. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he is reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean, you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Yeah, so this is actually different. This is different than before. Should I do it? Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Oh ho ho ho! You're really something, right-ho? You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. Hold it! How could you? You monster! Miss Sky? You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. I'm the monster here? Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? No, dude! You idiot. I'm afraid that's not possible. You see? This piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. I thought it'd be interesting. So what exactly are we here to present? I feel like this is proceeding the way it's supposed to. Because I would have lost by now if I did something wrong. Died from punctured heart. A knife tip was found in the wound. Finds blood traces. Spray to use. Wait, so if we were to present this, be like, there should be blood on this cloth, right? What if I presented this? So I'm really curious to see what would happen if I presented. Because she was knocked out. So Emma was knocked out, but she has this bottle of fluid on her, right? Did she have the bottle of fluid on her at the time? Piece of cloth. Evidence that contradicts this cloth. I don't think this is going to lead to it, but I feel like it could be relevant, so I'm curious. Oh ho 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 ho. It's fun watching you squirm, right ho? This piece of evidence does indeed seem to contradict something. Your outward appearance of mental sanity! What am I doing? This cloth was cut from Prosecutor Marshall's vest after he died, and something's definitely not right about it. It's too late to turn back now. You're the one who can put an end to this, right? Tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. I knew that wasn't gonna work. There should be blood on it, though. So where the hell is all the blood? Should I present the photo? I'm still thinking, like, there should be a lot more blood, right? I'm curious if I present this. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Well, there we go. That would explain a lot. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it. Exactly. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He mostly got hit on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword. Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said the person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago. That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! Get wrecked. Get absolutely wrecked, sir. It's finally all over. Objection! Wait, what? That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order, order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, G? Earlier old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor? I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. Oh. But hold on. One of the rules is that we need permission from the police department to present the evidence. And who gave us that permission? None other than the chief himself. But that's not fair. Ooh. Did you actually think you could beat me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? It's getting good. Purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth. I did? Or I did not? I did not illegally conceal this. I wasn't going to present it because I did not have the legal permission from the police department to present this evidence. However, when he did present it to me, I got permission from the chief of police to present the evidence. I was never going to present it. I did not. I admit, I refused to present it at one point. Aha, so the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then, it's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Udgy, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward you can't really believe. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. A-boom. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall, when was this picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest was the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you! Wahahaha! Oh! Hee hee! Ha 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 ha! He looks so proud of himself, doesn't he? I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've gotta help me. And we helped him. Money, money, hello!
Welcome!
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint. Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Grr. Leaving the prosecution's car aside? How? How could you get Miss Skye involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've gotta hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it, you and me. We're the same. We're not the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, that was a lot. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, Aji? What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all that questions raised in the trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. She smiled for the first time. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few years. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. The trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Not guilty! That is all. This court is adjourned. We did it! 5:03 p.m. Jesus, we were here all day. My god. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. No, just a little bit. Wait, so is he gonna get his job back? Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. You said the same thing earlier. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana! Should you be doing this? Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis! I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis! I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Aw, that's so sweet. The sisters are reconciling. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why we must make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt, watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Give me a big ol' hug, Edgeworth. He looks so angry. He looks so pissed off. I mean, that's always how he looks, to be fair. I've never seen him smile. Where was he hiding? I just came to say... Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. What? No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth! Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try and go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I needed a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. No, he's actually quitting! No, Edgeworth! We need you to be in future sequels! I know there's spin-off games regarding Edgeworth as the main character. So I know he's popular. He comes back, I know this. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. They said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back on today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have been undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah, what is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Evidence law. Nah. Take that. That might mean something to you, but I don't see how it had anything to do with our partnership. Huh? Mr. Wright, it seems that you still have a lot to learn as well. I guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth! If you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Uh-oh, did I do the wrong thing? No, come back! Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. Where is he going? No! I better be going too. Can I not go back and present something else? Did I screw something up? Oh no. Okay. I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Yay! Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. Oh, look at all these characters we befriended. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, haha. You see, Mr. Wright, here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? What? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it... I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go! We made it to the credits! Here we go. I guess it just let us go anyway. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. GG's. We've done it. Planning? Takeshi
Objection.
Yamazaki. Objection! I wanted to present more evidence to Edgeworth. Oh well. I was messing around. I thought I'd have another chance. Oh well. They overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. These are the slowest credits I've ever seen, but whatever. Who else are we gonna get in here? Can I fast forward through the credits? No. Beacons! I forgot about you. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. Sir? I'll show them though. Someday I'm going to make the detective, sir. Yes, sir, then I could be just like that Dick Gumshoe. Sir. I beat a game today too. Did you, Chemo? I saw that you've been playing the Thousand Year Door remake. Did you finish that today? Ah, we're doing so good. Oh, there's that creepy ass investigator thingy. It's the mascot. Yep. Congrats on beating Thousand Year Door. If I play Thousand Year Door, the remake, I'll probably... Oh. It just fell over. It's dead. We killed it. If I play that game again, I might do a Danger Mario run, because that was pretty fun. Oh, hey, too. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with the steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of my guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Is he in prison? Chaos Mario? That could be fun. What I really want to do still... Looks like we won't be seeing... each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Yeah, bitter part first and then the sweet part later. Or crowd control. I was about to say, but I keep getting interrupted by characters in the game. What I really want to do is, I'm never gonna finish my thought. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing, something. For now. Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel! Sorry, gotta go. Thank you for the awkward fart. One thing that I really want to do is I want to do the GTA 5 Chaos mod. I've seen a few streams of that. They've looked super fun, and I want to try it myself. But I never finished GTA 5 normally. Maya! Ah, nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. That's a new location. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you. I still can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. Are we traveling around the world visiting our friends? We haven't talked to Maya in a while.
Do it.
Do it. Should I go back to GTA 5 and finish the actual main story mode? Because I never did finish it. But it's probably easier just to start over at this point.
Do it.
Are you trying to spam do it, but you're not able to spam it properly? Is that what's happening right now? Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, it's the bellboy. Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. What's going on? Wait, that's his letter of resignation, isn't it? Because Edgeworth did say he wanted to resign as a prosecutor. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Scientific investigation. Wait. That's so freaking cute. Is there a letter in there? Was it a picture of the two of them? Oh, look at them. They're so happy together. It looks like that's a younger picture, actually. How many years ago was that? Rise from the Ashes. Clear episode 5. The Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We got an achievement! It took forever to get where you are. It's a long game. Well, I don't remember what the hell I was doing. I don't remember the story whatsoever. We've done it! Wait, if I continue, what does it look like? Oh. I guess I could technically go back, couldn't I? Eventually I want to do a 100% run of it. I did do 100% of GTA 4 on the Xbox 360. But let me go ahead and say this. Wow! Holy crap, we made it through the game. That's a fantastic game, actually. Phoenix Wright. Good job. Good job, everyone. And there's definitely more to this. That was only the first game in the trilogy. We've only done the first game in the trilogy. So there's plenty more cases to go. I don't know if they're going to continue to get more complicated after that. I don't know how it's going to keep developing beyond this. I'm looking forward to playing it. It may be a while before I come back to it, but I'm definitely interested in playing more. But in the meantime, thank you everyone so much for joining me on my very first time playing through the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney game. The very first game. Maybe, after some time, in a month, 2 months, I don't know, we'll come back and we'll play through the second game, which I think is Justice for All. So maybe we possibly will get introduced to a new character named Apollo Justice. I've heard of that character. That would be cool. And maybe we'll find out what happened to Edgeworth. When does he come back into the story? But either way, everybody, thank you so much for joining me on this. This has been super fun, and I will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye. See you later.